Hey, just want to make a quick video and go through my R.E.M. cassette collection. Now, cassettes were the format that I originally collected R.E.M. on. I remember I wasn't familiar with R.E.M. at all, and I had an uncle who lived in Cincinnati, and we would go there and visit him, and he gave me four cassettes, four R.E.M. cassettes for the ride back from Cincinnati to Detroit. And they were Murmur, Reckoning, Life's Rich, Pageant, and Fables of the Reconstruction. And that solidified my lifelong love of R.E.M. And after I got the cassettes, when CDs started to become the big format, I started buying their stuff on cassettes. But today I'm going to be focusing on the cassettes exclusively. This is their EP, Chronic Town, the first thing that R.E.M. would release. This has just got a regular standard case like that. I know they did reissue it, I think for the anniversary of Chronic Town a few years back, but this is Murmur, one of my favorite R.E.M. albums. On any given day, it is my favorite. This one is like the, I don't know what you call it, cream colored cassette. But I also have this because, you know, I'm a sucker, and if I ever see different variations on it, I will pick it up. This is probably like I would say probably a late 80s reissue of that. Then their second album, Reckoning, equally as fantastic. I kind of compare it like Van Halen 1 and Van Halen 2. Like, I'm sure they had some of these songs around when they were recording Murmur. But another fantastic record. And then an album that was kind of a departure for them. This is Fables of the Reconstruction, or Reconstruction of the Fables. And I like how even on the spine, you can even flip the spine over. And it'll read that. But yeah, a little bit more experimental. You've actually got some strings on here. The arrangements are a little different, definitely branching out. And then probably one of R.E.M.'s heaviest albums, which is Life's Rich Pageant, not Life's with an apostrophe S, which I always thought was kind of weird. And I've never seen this, at least I don't think I have, on like a cream colored cassette. I believe this is what it looked like when it was reissued. But that was one of the cool things, like even on R.E.M.'s early cassettes, like they didn't have like a standard or IRS. I'm getting my acronyms now messed up. R.E.M., IRS, you know, they would personalize the spines on here, where sometimes, you know, like Warner Brothers cassettes or MCA, they would have just kind of like all their early cassettes look the same on the spine, but to our IRS's credit, they did not do that, so that was pretty cool. And then this was the first cassette that I actually bought like in real time that wasn't one that my uncle had given me, and that was Dead Letter Opus. I think I had read in a magazine, and I forget what, it was like Musician, I don't remember what magazine it was now, it's not, can't remember, but it doesn't matter. But I remember seeing that this was out, and I'm like, ooh, new R.E.M., I gotta pick that up. And I kind of knew it was like, this is like odds and ends. Got some B-sides on here, you've got some tracks that just didn't make it onto their records. But it's a really cool kind of grab bag of different R.E.M. styles from their first 4 studio albums. And then the big one, of course, I got this when it came out, Document. And kind of where this got the number 5 here, like designating this as their 5th studio album. They've always got like file under whatever. I don't know if this was ever released in a clear, which is kind of weird to me, I guess, because Life's Rich Pageant was released a clear cassette, and then you've got this, which is back to like the white colored, not the transparent colored cassette case, but in any event. And then I remember, like, this is the first, I think, cassette single I'd ever seen. This is actually one sealed. This is not the original one I bought. I picked this up later, but it is still sealed. So it's got the price sticker. This was retailing for, at Tower Records, $1.50 something. I don't even know if that's what I paid for it back in the day, but anyway, you know, they ended up using like these cardboard sleeves rather than like a hard shell case after the Document album. But the only two singles that were released on Cuss Single were that one and then this one, which is the single for It's the End of the World as We Know It and I Feel Fine. Again, in the hard shell case. And this has got both tracks on here. There's the, you know, It's the End of the World, and then can't even read what that other song. It's like Last Date or something like that, but it's an instrumental, but still cool to have. And I've also got two copies of, this was eponymous after R.E.M. left IRS, like most labels would do. They're like, now we're going to come out with the greatest hits and try to milk their back catalog, and that's what eponymous is. There's some variations here. You've got like Finest Work Song with a horn mix. You've got an early mix of Radio Free Europe. There's a track that was on a soundtrack, Romance. I forget what soundtrack it was off of. So it's not just strictly greatest hits. There's also some other stuff on here for the collector. And then I've got it, well, I don't think I showed that. This is the white cassette. And then the other version that I've got is the clear cassette version of eponymous. And I know too, when that came out on CD, there's like a yellowish gold label CD, and then there's like a blue labeled CD. Then green R.E.M. I still remember, to this day, I remember I was going to community college at the time. I bought this at the mall the day it came out and listened to it on my way to my classes in the evening. I had evening classes, so I was driving out there at like 5:30 at night. Great album though, one of my favorites. And then this was an IRS greatest hits. It's the best of R.E.M. This was a European release, and it's kind of got a better track listing than eponymous, honestly, although it doesn't have the, you know, weird mixes that some of the eponymous tracks do. But a really solid track listing on that one. And then Out of Time, which I got originally on cassette. I was living away at college when Out of Time came out, and my roommates had it. I remember my roommate had the CD single of Losing My Religion, and then he got the CD of this, but you know, I got it on cassette because that's the format that I was still in college. I didn't really get a CD player till like 89. It was like later than most of my friends had it, and even then it was like only a portable Walkman. But anyway, so this was the first format I had on this. And then all subsequent cassettes that I'm showing here, like I didn't buy these, I bought these albums on CD originally and then picked up the cassette as I found them. So we're talking Automatic for the People here, which kind of cool. It's got like a yellowish case, just like the CD had like the yellowish tray on it. And then Monster, which you would hope would have like an orange tinted tray, but no, just a regular looking cassette. Then New Adventures in Hi-Fi. Now we're starting to get into like really rare, like I doubt there were many people that were collecting R.E.M. on cassette at this point in time. The cassette itself is black, which is weird. I don't know if that means it's Canadian or if that's just how it was issued that way. Not entirely sure. But I did have it, did get it on cassette. Just got this later. And then Up, which was the first album without Bill Berry. I'm still not totally in love with this. Like, now we're getting into where it's really hit or miss for me in terms of R.E.M.'s quality. I like most of it, but there's still some tracks that I'm just not a huge fan of. And then Reveal, which I love this. When I first got this, I was like, I'm very underwhelmed. I'm like, blah. I want to hear jangly R.E.M. or, mandolin or whatever. But I've grown to love this. Like, I really have over time come to appreciate this cassette, this album. But just grabbed that recently on cassette. So anyway, those are my R.E.M. cassettes. Don't know why. Just figured I would show them. Do something a little different. Hope you're having a great day and take care.